Hello and welcome to Just Books. It's the weekly show that takes you into the world of readers, writers, and the latest publishing trends. But first, a quick look at what's on our bookshelf today. Kumauni lepidopterist Peter Smetacek on his memoir, Butterflies on the Roof of the World. Thriller writer Jeffrey Archer on his favorite reading list. What's doing brisk business in the bookshops and who's shaking the bestseller charts? Here's a quick look at the week's bestsellers. The second volume in the illicit romance of the 50 Shades trilogy is a hit on bestseller lists worldwide. Set in 1900 BC in the Indus civilization with a cast of early Vedic gods, its principal character is the evolution of Shiva as a hero. The complete fiction set that rules the charts. The best-selling author's latest offering explores the miracles of Krishna in his many avatars. And the first of the best-selling trilogy about a passionate affair between a literature student and a wealthy entrepreneur that is cult fiction of the moment. From The Harbinger of a Joyful Life, how to interpret the hidden meanings of sacred words to transform your life. An analysis with case studies on how the West can learn from experimental innovations in frugal engineering and emerging less is more trend in emerging economies. Real stories of the Mumbai Mafia. The complete authorized biography of the charismatic revolutionary figure who transformed the digital world. Musings, reflections, and essays from the best-selling novelist. And here's my pick of 5 new titles in the bookshops this week. Wide-ranging conversations with the legendary filmmaker that illuminate his life and art. The Sarod Maestro's moving and richly illustrated tribute to his iconic father, Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan. 5 young women in Mumbai traversing the twisted pathways of love and fulfillment. A delightfully diverting tale with imaginative illustrations of 6 youngsters delving in magic in an old Mumbai housing society. And Lord Mountbatten's younger daughter on the story of her parents' unconventional marriage and their tenure as the last viceregal couple to preside over India's partition. And in our ongoing series, What's on My Bookshelf, thriller writer Jeffrey Archer this week talks about his favorite reading list.
I'm going to talk to you about 5 of my favorite books, which center really on the fact that I like storytellers. Great writers are very important, but it's storytellers who make you turn the page and you go back to again and again. I'm going to start with a book here by the great Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo. Now this is a wonderful old-fashioned story by a French writer, story of a man who was wrongly put in jail for a crime he had not committed, and how, when he escaped 20 years later, he found the island of Monte Cristo. On it was treasures, and with those treasures, he sought revenge on the people who'd put him in prison. I wrote a book a couple of years ago called A Prisoner of Birth, which was based on The Count of Monte Cristo. I recommend it. And we move on here to probably England's greatest storyteller, Charles Dickens, a legend in his country. Now this man, of course, wrote many books that you'll remember, Oliver Twist and David Copperfield, and so many. Bleak House, probably his masterpiece. But my favorite is A Tale of Two Cities, the story of Paris and London, and how a great aristocrat in London goes to Paris at the time of the French Revolution and rescues people who are going to be killed. This is a This is a great story if you like adventure stories, but this is the greatest storyteller of them all. And now we come to an author for whom I have great admiration from your own country, the great R.K. Narayan. Now, these are short stories, as so many of you will know, because he's such loved in this country and so respected. Malgudi Days is my favorite. I think he's a very special short storyteller. I put him in the class of O. Henry, Maupassant, Scott Fitzgerald. He is one of the truly greats. And he's been my insight into India. It's been very special indeed for me, because I feel I know India because of this man. Now we move on to another man who wrote about India, the great Rudyard Kipling. Now, he was an all-rounder. He was a poet, a diplomat, a storyteller, a novelist. And this is again a lovely story about India, a lovely story, but it's seen through colonial eyes. It's seen through an Englishman's eyes. So it's very, very different to R.K. Narayan, who, of course, a great scholar of India himself. But nevertheless, he's a wonderful storyteller, and it talks about your great country at a time, a long time ago, 100 years, 200 years ago, and sees it through those eyes. So you, as a modern Indian, have to remember that and not be offended by his words, because underneath is beautiful storytelling. And finally, I've chosen the legendary British detective, the man everybody has copied. All these detective stories you see have all come from the amazing Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And these are the stories of Sherlock Holmes. Of course you know them. Everybody knows Sherlock Holmes. But I remember as a schoolboy reading this when I was 15 years old. And I can tell you, I returned to it again and again, because he, like R.K. Narayan, like Rudyard Kipling, like Charles Dickens, like all of them, like Dumas, is a storyteller as well as a great writer. I recommend it. And so I hope you'll read all 5 of these books, because these are the great storytellers. Of course, they're great writers, but these are the page-turners as well, and I recommend all 5 of them. Hope you enjoy them. Thank you very much indeed.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.